And just like that, it's on and popping. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get right into the topic. So, Sean P. Diddy Combs, the jury has been selected. His trial is about to kick off completely. The trial already started when they started selecting jury members, potential jury members, but now they've narrowed it down to who they're going to use as the jury members, and now they're about to get started. Well, according to USA Today, here's what you can look for. So, after several days of intense questioning, because they had to question all these people, are you somebody that's biased against entertainers? Do you like rap music? Are you, because they're trying to figure out if somebody has some kind of underlying bias, how it might help or hurt their case, right? So after several days of intense questioning, the small group of people who will help to decide the fate of Sean P. Diddy Combs has now been selected. We're one step closer to learning the fate of a mogul, a multi-million / a billionaire, Sean P. Diddy Combs, a man who is one of the most famous persons on earth, who was so popular and was such and is such a powerful person within the entertainment industry. His life, his freedom now hangs in the balance. So prosecutors, defense attorneys, and the judge agreed upon 12 jurors and several alternatives. Just in case anything happens to any of the jury members, they got some alternatives in there to fill in and keep the thing going. They agreed on May 12th, which was today, to serve as jury members for a closely watched trial, which could result in a lifetime prison sentence for Sean P. Diddy Combs. Damn. I hope it doesn't come to that. I honestly hope Sean P. Diddy Combs beats this. And I don't care who wants to say what in my comment section. I have my reasons, and I've explained my reasons why I think and I hope he beats this. With that said, though, the odds are stacked against him in more ways than 10. So, Sean P. Diddy Combs, a defining force in the entertainment industry for decades, is now facing federal charges for sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution. Diddy has pled not guilty the whole way on all counts and vows to fight every single one of them in the court of law with his attorneys. The trial will not be televised. I mean, damn, they had us watch other rappers on trial. Why we couldn't watch Diddy's trial? But, we'll stay close to our favorite news media houses, USA Today and others, to see what they give to us, because they promise to give us some minute by minute, up to the minute updates on what's cracking in the courtroom. Well, the jurors that they selected, I know everybody want to know, is it all white? Because if it's all white and it's a black man on trial, there could be a problem. Are they all black? Are they mixed? Are they old? Are they young? Are they his age group? Is it a jury of his peers, like his constitutional rights demands? That's what the constitutional right says, right? It says you should be tried by a jury of your peers. Well, the jurors selected represent a wide cross-section of the surrounding state of New York, with ages ranging from 30 to 74. Honestly, they be violating the constitutional rights all the time, if you should ask me. If I am 54, 55, how the hell is a 74-year-old person a jury of my peers? I'm not peers with my mama's and my daddy's age group, but that's what they do, though. And if I'm 55, more than likely I got a 30-year-old son or daughter or somewhere pushing up on 30. I'm not peers with that group either. Those are my children's age group to my parents' age group. But, that's how they do. I already see a fault with who they chose for the jury, but we're not going to argue with it. We're just going to keep on going. So, one juror is reported to be a deli clerk at Gristedes grocery store. Another is a dietary aide at a nursing home. And another is an administrative officer in the cyber terrorism office at the United Nations. One juror is a retired Verizon field tech. I might be concerned about that one who is a cyber terrorism officer at the United Nations. But again, here we go. So as lawyers on both sides attempted to find a class of people who would be unbiased enough to deliver a fair verdict for one of the most famous men in music, potential candidates were struck down for a host of different reasons. One potential juror was dismissed after sharing that he was arrested 7 years ago for possession of marijuana. If I ask you not to use marijuana during the trial, would that be hard for you? Is what Judge Arun Subramanian, which by the way is a Indian judge, he asked that person, that potential juror at the time, if I ask you not to use marijuana during this trial, would you be able to do so? Wow. So the man responded that it would be very difficult as he was dismissed. Basically, he didn't want to be there. He straight up said, listen, I'm going to be smoking weed right through, man. So if you put me on this jury, I can't promise you that I'm going to stop smoking weed just so I could be here as a juror. I'm probably going to be home puffing anyways. I'm going to be honest with you. The judge said, all right, say less, you got to go. And that's that. He let him out. Another was disqualified when he revealed that he had read a USA Today article about jury selection during the process. So while a separate juror was sent home over a response in her questionnaire indicating that she thought that Diddy might have enough money to buy his way out of jail. They say, yep, send her ass home too. So most of the grilling revolved around jurors' preconceived views of Sean P. Diddy Combs based on news consumption and their experience with law enforcement or with sexual abuse. Because you don't want somebody in there who has some kind of hang up. You know what I mean? Has some kind of preconceived notion, has some kind of experience that has them feeling biased some kind of way. Like the one who said, I think he got enough money to buy his way up out of here. That means if you put her on the jury, she's probably going to say he's guilty, but I think he's going to buy his way up out of here. She's going to call him guilty from the beginning. Or she might simply just say he's not guilty because she feels like no matter what she says, he's coming out anyway. So why not just be on the winning team from the get-go? It's quite complicated, but they got through the process. And now the jury has been selected, and now it's time for Sean P. Diddy Combs to go to trial. So shortly before the jury was finalized, Diddy's defense team claimed that prosecutors were unfairly excluding black jurors. Remember, the judge actually scolded one of the lawyers that was with Diddy, saying he should be careful of that comment that he said on that podcast. Because the prosecution snitched to the judge, right? And said, hey, judge, that lawyer was on a podcast last night, and he made this comment right here about a 6-pack of white women. The Indian judge said, you better watch your mouth, because that comment right there is inflammatory. 6-pack of white women, which I'll have you know, by the way, that Sean P. Diddy Combs is being prosecuted by a group of white women. And that's why the judge said it's 6 of them. It's kind of like a 6-pack of white women. So again, shortly before the jury was finalized, Diddy's defense team said that the prosecutors were unfairly excluding black jurors. Your Honor, the government has struck 7 black people out of 9 strikes, which we believe amounts to a pattern. Mark Agnifilio, a lawyer for Diddy, told the judge. Damn, they had 9 black people up there and they struck down 7 of them. That means they're trying to whitewash that jury pool the best they can, or to put people on it who are not black. More than likely, those people will have some type of bias against somebody like Diddy. His genre of music, they might not even be able to relate to, given the age group, 30 to 74. And also, you could think about the wealth gap between him and them. Honestly, some people who are non-black, they look at somebody like Sean P. Diddy Combs with all that money and they think he did something illegal to gain all that money he has. So automatically in front of them, I don't care what evidence you show me, he's guilty. Prosecutors, in response, called their selection very diverse, with many non-white jurors. One prosecutor ran through neutral reasons as to why they made the strikes the way that they did. One juror said he had a lack of candor with past incidents with the police. Another juror had meandering and inconsistent answers. And another juror tried to walk back her statement that Diddy is likely guilty of domestic violence in her jury questionnaire by later saying that the victim can jump on a bandwagon. Subramanian, which is the judge overseeing the case, he denied the defense's application about the jury strikes, saying that the defense has failed to show purposeful discrimination. Again, I said from earlier, this judge, Judge Subramanian, is a through and through Indian. And not for nothing, but the Indian community is known to be pretty racist against black people. So I've seen calls that this judge has made so far that are going to be damaging in this case. Like, for instance, he's the one who made the call that the video with Cassie running down the hallway and Diddy chasing her and grabbing her bag and pushing her to the ground and hitting her, he's the one that made the call that that video should be included in this trial. Now, mind you, he is not on trial for Cassie. He is not on trial for what happened with him and Cassie. Cassie is there as a witness for the prosecution, so she can be somebody who they could use to say, I've been around him. I was close to him. I know that he has a propensity for violence. I've seen him do crazy things, blah, blah, blah. Whatever they can get from her to bolster their case, you know? But what happened with him and Cassie is not on trial. So the lawyers argued, listen, what happened between him and Cassie, the video shouldn't even be shown because it's going to have the jury looking at it and feeling upset in their spirit and probably automatically think, yeah, he's guilty of everything. He's a man that beats women, which would be an unfair judgment. Judge Subramanian said, let the video stay. And now Diddy's attorneys are saying, hey, they just brought up 9 potential jurors, all black, and the prosecution struck down 7 of the 9. Like they're trying to purposely get rid of all black potential jurors. And the judge said, you can't prove that either. So let's continue. I already see a rocky start to this, you know. Sean P. Diddy Combs' trial why the music mogul is facing these federal sex charges. Diddy, no jury. Well, the jury has now been picked. So he is charged with 2 counts, so you understand clearly what he is going up against. Like I said, it's not Cassie. He is charged with 2 counts of sex trafficking. He is charged with 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which mean he requested, put somebody in a transportation, drove them across state lines or flew them across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, sex trafficking, and 1 count of racketeering. Racketeering is the participation in a illegal scheme under the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization statute, or the big charge that everybody knows as a RICO. So, as a way for the US government to prosecute organizations contributing to criminal activities. Using a RICO law, which is typically aimed at targeting multi-person criminal organizations like the mob or a gang, prosecutors allege that Diddy coerced victims, some of whom they say were sex workers, through intimidation and through applying narcotics to them to participate in his freak-off sessions, sometimes days-long freak-off sessions, performances that federal prosecutors claimed that they have videos of. Well, it's time for them to show those videos in the courtroom. Oh, imagine the jury members who gets to see not just Sean P. Diddy Combs butt-ass naked in action, but gets to see all the other famous people. They are sworn by oath not to say to the public who else they saw in these videos. They'll be in court watching live porn, yo. Yeah. And then you'll be able to look across the courtroom at some of the people who you're watching do live porn. Like Cassie is going to be there. Sure, she's in some of them videos. Diddy is going to be there. He definitely in the videos. And who else? What if they are watching this video and they see like government officials, high-ranking people, super famous people? I don't know if I could hold that to myself. I might want to tell somebody else. However, that's what they're sworn to. So this is the latest update. The latest update is that the jury has now been selected. Alternative jurors have been selected. The jury pool that they have just got selected today. And the age range is between 30 and 75. And they're about to go in. Starting arguments are about to begin. So we'll see where this goes. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me if you think that Diddy is going to be found guilty or if you think that he just might be able to beat this case as well. In closing, I'll say this. I know that Brian Steele, which represented Young Thug, is on Diddy's team. However, I have not heard anybody make any mention of him so far. This will be interesting. And another thing is, they allowed us to watch Young Thug's trial on television, but we will not be able to watch Diddy's trial on television. I don't know why, but I think we should be able to watch it, but we're not going to. So we're not going to be able to know every single detail like the Young Thug trial. That sucks. But we'll stay close to it, as close as possible, and we'll bring you the updates as we get them. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.